Hello, hello, hello. Morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Nice, fresh, frothy coffee. How's it going, Anne? Kim, Mark, good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Hello, coffee too. Ah, good Roo, good Roo. Hey, Emil. Yeah, welcome everyone for this FP3 session. An important session today. Oh God, what have I just done? Wrong thing. Hang on. Yeah, very, very important session today, guys. Very important. Just move that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And a nice lay-in. Well needed, well needed. And yeah, looking forward to a day of F1. The usual prayers for a grand piano, Mark. Well, we'll see, Eden. We'll see. When does it start? Practice 3 starts in just over 7 minutes. So, morning, Mariam. So yeah, the big test here today, all eyes are going to be on Red Bull because, of course, the last 2 practice sessions yesterday, Max was not a happy bunny. Perez didn't seem to be quite at the races as well. Their long runs look better than their overall single lap pace, but the have they been able to dial out the issues of that car overnight? Have they put the work in the simulator? No doubt they would have been, the people back at the factory at Red Bull. So, yeah, all eyes on them, really, to see, is it genuine struggles from Red Bull? Are they starting to feel the pressure already? So, but Leclerc definitely the man to beat at the moment. Lando Norris didn't quite show a lot of pace. Well, he showed glimpses of that pace, but didn't give us a single lap for us to kind of fawn over. But, yeah. Keep an eye on Lando today as well. Hey Kim, new here. What team do I support? I support every team. Of course I don't. I'm not one of those. No, I predominantly support the Brits. So McLaren, Mercedes, so Lando, Lewis Hamilton, as you can tell here, and George Russell. Who else is a Brit on this grid that I'm missing? Lando? There's 4 Brits, isn't there? Oh, Albon's technically under the tyre flag, but he's like half British, so I support Albon as well. So there may be a hint of red next year as well. Maybe a hint of red appearing on this channel next year. Because of this man going somewhere. But yeah, no, I predominantly grew up on supporting McLaren. Because that was kind of the team that I think was fighting more out up front. I missed the Damon Hill era. So Williams, I do like Williams, and I do want to see them do well, but I kind of missed the heyday of Williams. I was too young. So Mika Hakkinen was my favourite driver growing up in that McLaren. Yeah, loved the battles he had with Michael Schumacher. Morning, Busy. Good to see you. How can you improve your F1 knowledge? Just by listening to this watch-along. Anja, just by listening to this watch-along. I have a lot of useless information in here that I just spew out to you all. just do a little bit of reading. Whatever takes your interest, just Google it. If there's a question that comes up, Google it. You're more likely to get a reliable answer through Google than you are on Twitter. That's what I would say. And listen to the Missed Apex podcast that just went down on your screen there. Listen to the Missed Apex podcast as well on Spotify, YouTube, other platforms. I'm a panelist on that, and yeah, they have a number of great guests, and they're always doing content throughout the year. One of the only podcasts that does content throughout the year, even in the off weeks as well. So there will always be something, an episode for you to listen weekly. Morning, James. Morning, mate. You alright? I mean to message you, James, actually. I got something exciting potentially on the horizon. Fell in love with Mika when you saw him unicycling. That's a strange way to fall in love with someone. Do it, Roo. Do it, Roo. Yeah, I mean, the P3, practice 3 is mainly about us just chatting, having a conversation. We look at the lap times, of course, and I'll keep you guys... Treat it as like an audio book, this kind of session, these practice sessions. Qualifying, of course, is where we get into the main bulk of like the commentary. And then the race tomorrow, yeah, it's a different animal altogether, isn't it? So Australian Miami, I guess I only guess why you think they're the best races so far, Eden. Not a 6 hour yet, no, but I do want to do some of that in the future, mate. How to get this race layout, Hemel? This is multi-viewer, so you need an F1 TV subscription for this, and yeah. Which reminds me. Right, guys, give me... I'm actually on the wrong server. There might be a slight disconnect just for a second, or lag in the server, in the stream. Just bear with me. I'm just changing something in the stream. Stay tuned, stay tuned. Should be back. Yeah, I do, James. Yeah, so I have, like, where my stream deck is, I've got something from Next Level Racing. I don't know if I can pull it forward and you guys can see. No. But yeah, where my stream deck is right here, I've got my phone, so I use that as like support. The stream is quite delayed for me, which is quite good. It's about 30 seconds to a minute delayed. So the feed that we get on here is instant. So during the race, I'm able to use Sky coverage or TV coverage as just support to relay stuff back to you, exactly what happens. Also, there's bits of information that I miss and hear from the stream or from the Sky coverage as well. So, yeah. What's still... so this is a Fanatec wheelbase and pedals. However, I am looking at different... I'm looking at replacing them. I'm speaking to a few different companies and, yeah, I'm looking at replacing them because they're kind of on their way out. And Fanatec are ignoring me. And they're ignoring, yeah, one of the companies that I'm a part of as well, so not great. But they kind of have their own issues at the moment, so. Yeah, I've had discussions with Moser. I've tried out one of their entry wheel level bases. It felt really good, but had issues with it overheating and stuff, so. Of course, there might be. Yeah, they will. They're going for a buyout, aren't they? Expensive as well. Yeah, we're all sim racing. Oh, wow. There's 8 minutes gone that quickly. Well, there we go, guys. Practice 1 is underway. Practice 3 is underway. Here we go. Lando wasting no time getting out there on the hard compound. So what we're most likely to see, guys, for this practice session, if you're joining us or just listening in, is that we have another hour for practice 3. And I'm going to reckon that we'll see some long runs. And then the last 20 minutes or so, we'll start to see some quali runs. And that's where things get interesting. Get a little insight into potentially where who's going to be fighting for what. But the track does get very busy here, as we saw yesterday. A lot of laps getting... Lewis Hamilton wasn't in the best books of people with holding people up. Max Verstappen wasn't happy. Fernando Alonso. So it's a tight track. So when everyone's all out there on circuit, yeah, penalties could be dished out when everyone's doing their quali run. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Please no RB. Hey Gibbon, good to see you, mate. Welcome. So I do expect to see. So we've got the Leclerc's straight out on the softs. Interesting. I didn't think we'd see Leclerc straight out on the softs. So what I've been listening to before we came live, guys, is that today the wind conditions are a lot lower than they were yesterday. So saw a few people struggle into the chicane, Variante Alta, 14 and 15, taking evasive action because there was a tailwind up there that threw people off and they couldn't turn into the corners. Seems to be that the McLarens are just scrubbing off those tyres, those hard compound tyres. Do expect that to be the race tyre tomorrow because we are on the softest compound here. But yeah, going back to the wind, we saw Verstappen take evasive action, signs. So potentially that had an effect on the car's performance yesterday. So we'll see if the likes of the Red Bulls, of course, that's who we're keeping an eye on, improve with their setup issues. And see if the order changes today in this session because of those different conditions. I mean, look, 2.7 miles an hour wind is not a lot at all. So, of course you can, Kim. Yeah, of course you can. The beauty of YouTube streams is that the VODs stay up and you can flick backwards and forwards and listen back to as you please. And the live stream and the chat as well gets uploaded a little bit afterwards, like it takes a little while for the chat to process or for YouTube to process it. But yeah, once the live stream ends, you can go back, see. Like that's why I have the chat on screen as well, so that people are watching it back or just watching it on a TV or a mobile. I'm a bit like that. If you have the chat side by side on a mobile device, like it's a bit too small. Like the actual screen that you want to watch is a bit too small. So that's why I have the chat on screen as well. To kind of the questions that I'm responding to. So you can have the screen up full. I take all these things into consideration, guys. But yeah, morning everyone, or afternoon, evening, wherever you are. So we have a first time on the board for this practice session. Perez in there with a 1:17.6 on the medium compound tyres. So that's not as quick as yesterday. But Charles Leclerc is out there on the soft compound, and so is the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. So keep an eye out on those two. And they might be doing some early quali runs compared to everyone else. Let's see if Stroll and Alonso just scrub off a set. So Stroll and Alonso have also scrubbed off a set of mediums. Let's see if they do the same with their hard compound as well. They have done. Interesting. No one else out there yet at the moment, so... Charles Leclerc did set a lap time there with a 1:17.8. So the fact that he set a 1:17.8 probably indicates to me that he's on high fuel. So he's probably got a lot of fuel in the car and he's trying to do some long runs on the softs, maybe trying to see if they're a viable choice for tomorrow. Now, Eden. Now. We all have our drivers that we prefer, but none of that. Because there are Max fans in here. Everyone's welcome, of course. I've said before, I'm not Max's biggest fan, but I respect him as a driver and I respect that he's great at what he does. So that's what we're here for. Hopes they can turn their results. I don't have much positivity about that, and I don't have much positivity about Stake. I think they're going to be down the bottom and struggling until they turn into Audi. So when am I back on iRacing? So I tried getting back on last night. Last night I wanted to do the F1 race. I had issues with my pedals, I said, which I have temporarily fixed to an extent, but they're kind of on their way out. And then I had issues with my wheelbase, calibrating my wheelbase. I got all that done. And then I had an iRacing software issue where it just wouldn't load past 15%, which I've had in the past. And the only way to fix it is to hard reinstall and reset iRacing. So that means all your configurations, all your settings. It took me like the whole night to get them back to where I wanted to. So yeah, I tried a couple of races last night to try and record, and they just went horrendously. So yeah, I'm hoping tonight I might be able to, but yeah. It's kind of as and when at the moment. iRacing just, yeah, unfortunately. So Yeah. We'll get there, though. We'll get back into it. Hey, Sam. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Why scrub sets off? Because it just takes the shine off them. I think it's easier, quicker for them to get temperature into the tyres. Mark, I think that's kind of like the whole premise behind it, is that they don't have this glossy shine on. I think that's the premise behind it. Whether it works or not, I don't know. It's all dependent on the car. Red Bull have been very good at switching on their tyres compared to others. Aston Martin always like to just scrub a set off. Seems to be that the McLaren have done the same as well. Be interested to see if they come out on that set of hards again. But yeah, that's kind of the genuine premise of it. All depends on the track surface as well. As Sainz went to the top of the timing sheets there, but only by a couple of attempts on a set of softs. The fact that we're in the 17s indicates to me that yeah, they're doing some high fuel runs. So Camus C12. I'm not familiar with Camus Nates. They have approached me actually a couple of times to review their equipment, but I'll be honest with you, I only kind of want to review any equipment that I'm interested in, and I haven't really been too interested in the Camus stuff. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I think definitely, is that like the flat plate one? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, look, it's a good place to start. And I think a Camus, a Moser R5, there's others on there now. They're much better than the likes of. They're much better than the likes of Logitech and stuff. There's so much more in regards to entry level equipment now, which is great for us consumers. So Leclerc, Bosch. Okay, maybe I was wrong that they're on high fuel runs. 16.2 for Charles Leclerc there. It clearly indicates that he's not on high fuel, maybe. That's a good time from him. Verstappen gone quickest in the first sector as well. So Verstappen on that medium starting to push. So let's keep an eye out on him, on his lap time here. Goes through turn 9. Heads down to turn 11, 12, 13. Aqua Minerale, where he was struggling yesterday, and we saw saw Hamilton spin it. And then all the way up to Variante Alta, where as he heads through this chicane, just up to the chicane, he crosses the sector 2 line. And yeah, he's green in the second sector, so not purple. Doesn't seem to, obviously he's on the mediums, but that isn't, the middle sector is where the Red Bull was struggling yesterday. It's where Max and Perez were losing a lot of time. He's not able to get the braking right, struggling on the braking, not a lot of front end he was complaining about. And then when he got on throttle, just had to delay his throttle input. So good lap time, 16.4 on the mediums. Good time from him, and Perez as well, 16.6 thus far. So, Are you sure about Ferrari tyres? Yeah, I'm sure that they're on softs. But it's the nature of how much fuel they're on. That's what we don't ever have an indication of, is how much fuel they're on. The only kind of indication we have in regards to if they've got a lot of fuel on board is the lap time. So yeah, maybe I still don't think Charles had a lot of. I don't think that was a pure quali run for Charles, even though he came in. That was probably just making sure the setup's okay. I don't think he'd show his true pace just yet. C5 is the flat plate. C12 is a new wheel with 12 Nm and looks a lot better than the C5. Just out the force feedback compared to... Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into that then, Nate. I'll have to look into that. I didn't realise it did a C12. Obviously, the 12 gives it away, doesn't it? The force. But yeah, I know they've approached me for the C5, which I don't... I've already tried the Moser R5 and it's taken a step down from 8 Nm or 8.5, which this wheelbase is. Just isn't really kind of for me. So it's quite tough. I think Hamilton will get P3. Well, you're a very positive person, Clan. I know, I don't think he will. I think the Mercedes, I wouldn't rule them out. They do look to be a bit stronger here than I think people expected them to be. George Russell was very good in FP1. His lap times in FP2 weren't too shabby either. Hamilton maybe struggling a little bit more than George Russell, it seems. But yeah, I don't they're still off the pace compared to Ferrari, Red Bull, and even McLaren now. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. 40 kilogram of fuel in that Ferrari at least, Connor. You're the engineer. You're the engineer. I'd like to them to remove stripes on tyres. I know we'd like to see what they're on, but during a race, it would be nice for teams to have a guess what tyre the competition is on. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I get your thinking. I do get your thinking. Yeah, I'm not. Me personally, I think we already don't know what fuel they've got and stuff, and how much charge they've got in the battery, and which we used to have information on. I think removing that element as well just would it would make it more interesting, probably from a competition perspective, but it also wouldn't. It would remove a lot of information for us as the viewer as well. So. Plus, like we said, was a 1:15.9, so they're quite far off considering the track should be faster. Yeah, which indicates that they're on higher fuel, aren't they? My top 3 in quali. Oh, can you ask me at the end, Given? Can you ask me at the end of FP3? What is the tyre strategy for this race? I think it's a one-stopper. I think you're going to see the hard compound tyre and the medium. We are on the softest set of compounds that we have here this week. I don't expect to see the soft. I think the soft just degrades too quickly or doesn't last too quickly here. So, yeah, I think we're going to see the hard and the medium. I don't know if there's... I still haven't checked the forecast for tomorrow, so I don't know if there's rain forecast. Has anyone informed me of that? Imola is that section of the world. Of course, it is wet. Of course, we had the tragic floods last year. But even then, even before that, we've had rain throughout the races, so... When's Hamilton going out? I don't know. Yeah, there are quite a few people yet to go out. Sargent, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Albon, Joe, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Russell. Speaking of Tsunoda, let's keep an eye out on him today. He has been on fire the first 2 practice sessions. He was going really well yesterday, so let's see if he can continue that. Let's see if he can drag that car into like the top 5. That's the way he was going yesterday. I mean, Q3 would be great for him, so... Rain is potentially going to happen Sunday. Okay. I need percentages, Connor. I need percentages. Come on. You're an engineer. Give me those specifics. So who do we actually have out here at the moment? So we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Gasly. Interesting that the McLarens... Oh, it looks like there's movement. There's movement. One of the McLarens is moving down there. I swear I just saw that dot moving. I was about to say, the McLarens, since they went out and did that lap to just scrub off the tyres, they haven't been out since. So, wonder what they're doing. Setup changes, maybe. Interesting, but they're not out there yet. Hulkenberg is out there, so... 45 minutes left of this session, and we've had not a lot of running, to be honest with you. Only a few laps. Charles Leclerc is out there on a used set of softs now. He's going quickest. Oh, he's gone quickest in the first sector and the second sector. We're going to see a purple lap here, guys, from Charles Leclerc. Have they taken some fuel out, maybe? Ooh. Let's see how much quicker is he going. 24.0 flat. I think the quickest time we saw yesterday in that first sector was a sub 24 second by Lando Norris. He then bowed out of the lap in the last corner. Here we go, Charles. Through turn 19 and a 1:16.0. So a bit of a slower last sector there. You can see yellow indicates that he was slower than his fastest lap. So, bit of time to be made up for him. But he's on used tyres, so that's where you need most of the grip is through turn 17 and 18. So, big up Stuffey. Woo! Bit of confidence. Red Bull struggling now that Adrian left and in practice too. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people saying that it's because of Adrian Newey leaving. It's got nothing to do with Adrian Newey leaving. It's just the fact of Carlos Sainz, by the way, fastest in the first sector, sub 24 seconds. Bit slower in the middle sector though, so keep an eye out on that. But Newey leaving you won't see those effects of him leaving until further down the line because of like any influence that he may have had on this year's car. But he hasn't really been working on the car anyway. He's been working more on the hypercar. It's more so the fact of that it was inevitable at some point, I think, that the other teams would catch up to Red Bull. There's going to be a ceiling in performance that the Red Bulls are going to reach, and there's only so much that they can improve. That the gains they will make are very minimal rather than large gains like Ferrari and McLaren can make. And that's what we're seeing, I think. As we said in yesterday's stream and yesterday's practice session, I was still reserved. While I was absolutely happy and excited for Lando winning his first race last time out at Miami, I was still a little bit reserved because Miami is a temporary circuit. It's quite unique. Tyre warm-up is very different there. There's not a lot of... but the way the tyres perform are very different. As Hamilton and Russell now come out, Hamilton's now on a flying lap. So let's see how he gets on a time lap on the soft tyres, maybe on a quali run simulation. So yeah, I was like, let's wait till we get to a more traditional circuit like Imola. And well, the first day, I was like, made me perk up a little bit. It made me perk up. I'm still reserved. So we'll see. We'll see at the end of this practice session. Unlike Miami, where it was a sprint race weekend as well, we've got 3 practice sessions here for them to dial in the setup, analyse the data and make those changes and to try things out. So I do expect Verstappen and Perez, the Red Bull team, to kind of figure those issues out that they had yesterday. But I do think the McLarens and the Ferraris have dramatically closed that gap to the Red Bull. So stupid, regs just change once it starts to close up. It always happens, Connor. It always happens. Always happens, yeah. Matt bought a new floor and beam wing, which are their biggest upgrades, yeah. Have I played F1 Clash? No, bro. No, never have done. Hamilton goes a miserable 118 for him in P11. I don't know if he had an issue there or something. Looked like he was very slow in the middle, well, in all sectors, to be honest with you. He was very slow. He was slow in the last sector particularly. So I think he had a big wobble somewhere. Maybe he's actually got more fuel on the car than we expected. I'm sure I'll see a replay of that lap in a second. That kind of indicates that he had a bit of a wobble there somewhere. Guess who discovered the only Grand Prix I can watch this year is the Las Vegas Grand Prix? Oh, really? Why is that, Nilo? Why is that? What, on TV or in real life? Like, how so? How so? Any Formula A races this week? I'm trying, Ethan, yeah. So, I tried last night, but had loads of hardware and software issues. So, I couldn't sign up to the race. I'm hoping that I might be able to make this evening's one, if not tomorrow's. So, I would have done this morning's one at 11 a.m. But, of course, FP3. And then the next cycle starts. Yeah, well, look, hopefully we've got 2 teams coming out. Like, look, I would love Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship. I'd love to. However, I don't want it to be... I don't want to see a period that we've just seen like Red Bull. I don't want to see that. Because I want to see multiple teams and multiple drivers fighting for race wins and fighting for the championship. That's what I think ideally most fans want. It's what we get excited about. What I do think would be different though, if let's say it was more of a Mercedes style dominance again, with a new engine rig change and Ferrari dominated, I do think Ferrari would let Hamilton and Leclerc fight. And I think we would see an inter-team battle. Unlike what we've seen at Red Bull with Perez and Verstappen. That's kind of like... That's if Ferrari were the ones dominating. And I think probably McLaren would let that happen with Norris and Piastri as well. So, but yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully we get multi-teams get it right. So... They're all at midnight your time. Oof. Not stomping all over the other teams, yeah. No worries, Roo. Good to see you, mate. Am I clan? Good, good. Well, if I am your favourite streamer, favourite F1 streamer, and just streamer in general, because there's for over 300 of you returning in here for this practice session, which is mad. So thanks for joining us, guys, for this little chit-chat. Of course, practice is just more of a chilled-out session for us here on this stream. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 22,000 subs. So yeah, please do. And hit the like button if you haven't already as well. Let's get this stream to 100 likes. That'd be great. Perez was never really close to Verstappen. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Hamilton. Oh God. Oh my God. So that Hamilton was just asked, where am I losing all this time? And they said, we're losing 0.8. Connor, are you still there? If you're still listening. Mercedes just reported to Lewis that he's losing 0.8 of a second in a straight line. Oh my God. What have they done to that car? I thought they had the new wing. What the hell? He's losing 0.8 of a second in a straight line is what Bono just reported to Lewis. What the hell? What the actual hell? Let's keep an eye out on Lewis. He's on a slow down lap. Bert must have changed engine mode because they were matching yesterday in straights. They've got to be, haven't they? Got to be something. Right, so let's have a little rundown of the grid, guys, at the moment, or the positions. So lots of different varying tyres being used. So Sainz and Leclerc at the top of the timing sheets, as Ferrari have been for most of this weekend thus far. Sainz at the top. I can't see exactly what lap time he had set, but yeah, I think it was about a 1:16. Charles Leclerc less than 0.02 of a second behind him. Verstappen in P3, 3 tenths behind, but has only used the mediums. We've got Norris just gone up there into P4 on a set of mediums as well. Perez P5, Bottas on a set of softs in P6. George Russell 7th on softs. Alonso has only run hard compounds. It looks like he's doing some long runs in P8. Albon on softs in 9th. Stroll 11th. Well, say that, yeah. Stroll in 11th now as Magnussen's just gone up to 6th on the mediums. Hulkenberg 12th, Gasly 13th, Ocon 14th. Looks like Danny Ricciardo's out there now doing some runs on the medium. Lewis Hamilton, though. Oh, Alonso. Alonso is off. There's a yellow flag in the last corner, and Alonso might have spun. And there's a red flag. There's a red flag. I think Alonso has lost it in turn 18. We've seen drivers dip a wheel, and there's a medical car that's been deployed. So Alonso might have taken a big old fair whack there in turn 18. You see his marker disappear, and we've seen drivers dip a wheel on turn 18 in that gravel a number of times, and it looks like Alonso has gone round and lost control of the Aston Martin. Wow. Wow. Did not expect that. We have only 35 minutes remaining in this practice session, and that could completely hamper a lot of drivers running here. Tsunoda is only on his outlap. Tsunoda's only on his outlap, as well as Piastri as well. Sargent's only done 2 laps of running. Ricciardo only 2 laps of running. So just watching it on TV now, and it's a big crash. It's a big crash. Alonso is, the rear suspension's broken. The rear wing's broken. He's in the barrier. I think he's okay, but that's a big old whack that he's had there. But it's before the last corner, so it looks like he spun it on the inside of turn 18, not on the exit. This is what I think he's done, because he's not. If he crashed on the exit of turn 18. On that curb and dipped a wheel, I think he's on the inside of turn 18 here, where we see them get 2 wheels up there, ride the curb quite substantially. I think that's where he's lost the car. We'll see in a second. Alonso is out of the car and okay, but it is a fair old whack, and that Aston Martin's rear is it's going to be a lot of work for the Aston Martin mechanics to get that in fit shape for the qualifying in a few hours' time. So just watching the replay now. So here we go. Alonso is heading down to the first Ravazza. Takes it well. And... oh, he's... whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! So he's lost it on turning. Wow! Wow, so he hasn't even touched the curb. It's as he's flicked the wheel to turn into the last corner. And the car just goes. It goes. That is a rare mistake from Alonso. It's like he lost all downforce all of a sudden as he flicked the steering wheel to turn into the last corner. But yeah, the left rear and the rear wing is broken. Might not be as much work as possible. Might not be as much work as a first fault, but of course it depends on what damage has been done on the inside of the car, the gearbox, etc. And that is what has brought out the red flag, guys. Wow. Wow. Will they give him Stroll's car? Imagine. Imagine. I can't show you, unfortunately, Luca. I can't show you. He'll somehow blame Hamilton for that, yeah. Aston need to scrap their lower downforce idea this week. Yeah, that was an odd one. I mean, did he peak? So, like it is, and anything I'm comparing it to, Connor, is iRacing. So, you know, obviously, when you have a slight slide, you peak the temperatures in the car. He had a slide on the entry, didn't he, to the first Ravazza, turn 17. Did he lose grip? Were the tyres lacking grip as he went into turn 18? Like, were they still peaking in temperature? And that's why he lost the rear. Good for Hamilton. Stroll 1, Alonso 0. Yeah. It's the only way Stroll will out-qualify. Well, actually, I say that. He did out-qualify Alonso in Miami twice. But he finished behind him twice, so... Did he get on the gas too early? No, it looked like so what happened is that he came through turn 17. He didn't quite hit the apex. So it wasn't an ideal entry. The car slid a little bit. The rear got a little bit loose and slid as he went through turn 17. And then as he's flicked the steering into turn 18, like before he even reached the curb, the rear went round on him. So I think there's either a change in wind direction now, or he's like peaked because it's sliding around through turn 17. He's peaked the tyre temperatures, and as he's turned in, the rear hasn't got enough grip. But I guess those sliding the rears, they're running super high top speeds, so too little rear downforce. You reckon? Yeah, probably a combination of the two. So yeah, not ideal there. Stroll's gotten a pole more recently than Alonso, to be fair. That is very true. That is factually correct, yes. So on my mic, is it all good? Is it okay? Marvin, because I coughed. I coughed. Sorry, guys. Hang on. How about now? Is that okay? Any better? It's okay now? See, turn it in and out. Let me listen to myself. I can listen to myself. Hello, hello. There we go. So weird. Listen to yourself back. Okay. Don't know what that was. Cool, cool. Don't scare me like that. Oh, hang on, I can still hear myself. Oh yeah, don't scare me like that, guys. I've had so many issues with my pedals and my equipment last night. Last thing I need is my mic going. So last thing I need. Racing Suzuka this week. I've tried 3 times and I've failed 3 times, and I'm not proud to say this, guys. I've actually lost my B license. I'm down to a C license. I've had some technical issues, but unfortunately have caused me to crash out and stuff, and I've lost I've lost my B license. So yeah. Also, the Super Formula Lights. I know we're talking sim racing right now, so sessions, quick clean-up crew there. Quick clean-up crew there. So we got a green flag again pretty quickly. I've the incident model or the hitbox on the Super Formula Lights is completely like wrong at the moment. It's completely wrong. So yeah, it's not. I literally barely touched someone's rear tyre yesterday, and I got a 4x. And someone hit me from behind. I got rear suspension damage, another 4x. Wonky steering, like it's just, yeah, not great. So no, the time doesn't stop, Eisen. So if there is a red flag in a practice session, it doesn't matter if it takes an hour to clear the track. You have no running. They don't do that. In qualifying, they stop it. And of course in the race, but not in the practice sessions. It's just because they've got other stuff going on throughout. So qualifying will be on at 3 hours from now. 3 hours from now, wherever you are in the world, that is when qualifying will be on. I will be live 15 minutes beforehand again. So yeah, time to race a big Super Formula again. I know, Andy. Well, I'm going to try and get some, yeah, I'll try and get some actual F1 races in so I can get back up to B license pretty quickly. So, yeah, it's an avenue I'm looking at, Aaron. It's an avenue I'm looking at. So, who am I think's going to win? Oh, I don't know, EMILIA. I still don't know. I'm going to hold my thoughts until the end of this practice session. So I've got all the data. But yeah, if you're just joining us, guys, thank you very much. We... Alright, well, 3 away from 21,850 subs. So thank you very much for all the new subs who have flown in. I have seen you guys. Thank you. But yes, if you're just joining us, we are just over halfway through this FP3 session. And well, the big story is that Fernando Alonso lost control of his car into turn 18 and binned it. So yeah, the mechanics are going to have to work very quickly to repair that car. We'll see if he's able to get out in qualifying. Qualifying is important here this week because overtaking is difficult. It is difficult. Bless me. Yeah, that brought out the red flag, but only temporarily, so not for too long. Does any streamer do F2 Watchalong? No, Tan. I would probably do F2 Watchalong if it was like this. Unfortunately, it's not linked up yet. As this, so you can't really get like a track map and the data and stuff. So I'm hopefully one day they'll do that, and if they do, then yeah, I'll definitely do an F2 watch along as well. Yes, well there is, Mark. The big wide GP circuits like Shanghai and Silverstone and that, but not a circuit like Imola where the cars have been too big for some time. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully my hardware holds up, James. Yeah, I'm hoping so, man. I'm hoping so. Our default setup's competitive in iRacing. I do need to buy those as well. Default setups can be competitive. It's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. It depends what you're deciding to race. If you are deciding to race Super Formula Lights and Super Formula, highly recommend Tamas's setups. He is an esports driver. He's probably the fastest open wheel driver there is. And you can find a link to his setups, his Patreon, well, there's a thing that runs through here, Nightbot, a message, or in one of my videos, my Super Formula Lights videos. But let's have a look at some times, shall we, guys? Because Piastri has now set a lap time, fastest last sector up there in P3 on the soft compound tyre. We should see some guys hopefully come out and do some quali sims. But we have everyone other than Bottas and Magnussen. Of course, Alonso's binned it. So other than Magnussen and Bottas, everyone is out there on circuit at the moment. So it's a very busy track with not a lot of time left of this session, just over 20 minutes. So Verstappen's doing some runs. Where is he? Going through Aqua Minerale right now. Hasn't put the soft tyre on yet. So still not really sure of his relative pace. Hamilton up there, only a 1:17.0. Something is not right with that Mercedes. Well, then again, he is only now a 10th behind his teammate, so that's a bit more relative to his teammate. Hamilton's setups are the best I've ever used in open world. I highly agree. Highly agree. Why not do the F1 app map for F2? I don't know. I don't know. Right. I'm just trying to assess where people are. So Max, the number 120.9 there. So race pace, it does seem to be that Ferrari, I think, are the quickest. Red Bull don't look too bad either. Haven't heard any radio calls from Max complaining about his setup today, which is a positive for you Max fans. Leclerc is cooking. Yeah, he does seem to be on it this weekend. He really does seem to be on it. He's on just doing long runs on the set of softs at the moment. Guys, if you can hit the like button, it'd be much appreciated. 29 likes until we hit 100 likes for this stream. A practice session, that'd be great. Who's my fave? Probably Hamilton. So Piastri's come back in and he's now put on another set of softs, or is he just come in to take some fuel out maybe? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Surely we're getting into some quality run range soon. Yeah. 2 sets, guys. Back. So, hey Emily, how's it going? Hello. Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining us. Wish I found a likeable Finn again, like Raikkonen. Yeah, I mean, I do like Bottas, but he's not. I mean, I did like Raikkonen, but I thought he got a bit annoying, to be honest with you. I think Raikkonen got a little bit annoying. Hakkinen is still my favourite Finn. Do I like Haas? Not really. No, they've been very against an 11th team coming on the grid. I was never really Gunther Steiner's biggest fan either. So, you like Fernando? Oh, well, shocking news for you, Emily. He's out of FP3. He binned it in the last corner. So, yeah, not good for you Alonso fans out there. But, so we have 20 minutes remaining. Anyone out there on a brand new set of tyres at the moment? Gasly's probably on the freshest set, 5-lap old. Albon and Bottas. So, Hamilton, how is Lewis getting on? P9 at the moment. Seems to kind of be trudging around. Aha! Piastri, guys. Hamilton reporting the car is riding high. So, do they have the ride height too high? And that's why he's losing performance. Of course, these ground effect era cars do need to be run low, but the lower you run it, the more likely you are to get pole position. So Piastri is going fastest. He went fastest in the first sector. Second sector is green, so he is improving on his overall lap time, and he is only just under 0.2 slower than the fastest time set by Sainz. So we'll see if he's able to improve here as he comes through the first Ravazza of turn 17, second Ravazza of turn 18. Let's see what this McLaren can do. Is he going to go to the top of the timing sheets, or is he going to bail out of it and come into the pit lane? No. Oh, he was slower in the last. He was really slow in the last sector there. Was that by design? I still feel like the McLarens aren't showing their true pace. That did look like his dot slowed down through turn 18. So I'm just watching him now, and I wonder if he made a mistake in the last corner, or if he just lifted to try and hide his overall pace. he backed off before the line. That's what it looked like on the track map, didn't it? But I never know if it's because he actually had like an off or a wobble at turn 18. So I'm watching him now. McLaren are definitely hiding their pace. They don't want to show their full pace. Ah, he went off. Yeah, so Piastri went off at the last corner. That's why he slowed. Okay. I still think it's by design. Norris was on for a flyer and like had a little wobble at the last corner and then didn't decide to finish the lap. Same with Piastri there. I still think McLaren are just like, no, we're not going to show anyone the true pace. You think Haas and McLaren aren't showing true pace? Yeah, Haas. I haven't really seen Haas do any proper quali runs. So we always know Hulk shows up in qualifying compared to Magnussen. So yeah, do expect Haas to be still up there. Yuki is up in P7. Once again, doing a great job here this week. He seems to be really in tune with that car. So he's got to be aiming for the Q3 today. He's got to be aiming for Q3. Hey Scott, North America's time to wake up early. Roles reversed. McLaren sandbagging. Yeah, I do think they're just not showing their true pace. And qualifying's going to be interesting for sure. But at the moment, Sainz, Leclerc are at the top as everyone comes into the pit lane with 17 minutes remaining. This is when we're going to see some quali runs, guys. This is when we're going to see some quali sims. So hopefully, this is where things get a bit interesting. And things could get a bit spicy as well because cars are going very, very quick. Cars are going very, very quick and drivers need to get out of the way because there could be some post-session penalties. Hopefully not, because I think it's shaping up to be a really good grid order for as it seems at the moment. Of course, Verstappen, have they sorted out those issues overnight? Their medium times did look good there. I don't think there is really... I'm not sure if there isn't that much of a dramatic overall pace advantage of the soft over the medium compound tyre. So we'll see. We'll see. Russell, check the bottoming down the straight into turn 1. Big difference versus yesterday. The Mercedes are struggling. See, what do I think about Mercedes? Not great. It's a bad time to be a Mercedes fan, isn't it? Because, yeah, the car's just not great. They're always in between setups. They're chasing performance. There's a small window of that performance. So, yeah, tough really to be a Mercedes fan at the moment. But the positive... I guess if you're trying to spin it on the flip side and look at positives, which I always try to do, guys, because I'm a positive guy. Always like to look on the bright side of life. Even though Mercedes have been struggling, throughout this whole regulation set, Lewis Hamilton still finished nearly second in the championship, only behind Red Bull last year. They still finished second in the constructors. They're still finishing in like the top 5 positions, fighting for podiums every now and then. So if this is the worst that Mercedes is ever going to be, imagine what it's going to be like when they get it like right. And I'm not even saying like very right, just right. So, but this is the worst Mercedes will be. If you think of it that way, that's not bad in the grand scheme of things. That's not bad, but it's not where they want to be, of course. So, looks like they're also doing a ride height experiment with Lewis's high and George complaining about bouncing. Yeah, probably. Does seem like that. Hey, Javier, good to see you, mate. Soft was over half a second quicker yesterday. Merc are running in way less engine mode. Okay. Well, we've just seen Albon go in there with a 16.4 in his quali sim. So that's 4 tenths off of Sainz and Leclerc, which is arguably the slowest car on the circuit, pretty much, or on the grid at the moment, with Zhou down there in 20th, so alongside Zhou. Can always go low. You have returned. Good to see you, bro. Welcome back. 6 likes, guys. Nearly 500 of you in here for this FP3 session. Welcome. So yeah, hit that like button, get us to over 100 likes. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, and you're a first-time viewer here, or if you're a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. It really does help this channel out and grow this great community we've got here. But if you are just joining us, welcome, welcome. So this FP3 session, we've just been having a bit of a chill one, a bit of a chit-chat. But the real story is that Alonso lost control of his car into the last corner, which is, I see it as turn 18. And, well, he binned it. The rear of the car, the rear suspension was broken. The rear wing was hanging off of the car. So those Aston Martin mechanics have a tough 3 hours ahead of them to get that car ready for qualifying at 3 o'clock this afternoon, or less than 3 hours now, as it is 20 past 12 my time. So 20 past the hour here. So yeah, that's the big news. We are going to see drivers coming out for this last 12 minutes, pretty much, I imagine, for their quali sims. This is where we're truly going to see, has the Red Bull sorted out their issues from yesterday? It seems like they have. I think I'm going to assume they have, because Max has only done medium compound running and we haven't heard any complaints from him over the radio. But the Ferraris have led all of the practice sessions thus far with their brand new upgrades. Leclerc seems to be pretty in tune with the car, Sainz as well. So yeah, we'll see very shortly who is going to be, an idea possibly of who's going to be fighting out for pole position. I think it's going to be really close today. I think it's going to be small margins. McLaren definitely haven't seen their true pace either. So I think it's going to be one of the most interesting qualifying sessions we've had in a long time. If where I was to join F1, what position would I take? I can't be a driver. A presenter. I'd like to be a presenter in F1. Or commentator, maybe. Only if I can do it in my own style and give my unfiltered opinions. I'm not there to toe the company line. Unless there's a lot of zeros on the end of the paycheck that they're going to provide me. Everyone has a price, guys. I'm just telling you now. It's an expensive world out there. And I've got a Litton on the way, so money does talk. So tough being a Merc fan. Yeah, it's not a great place at the moment. So we do have Stroll out there. He's on a set of brand new softs, as well as Guan Yu Zhou. Bottas is as well. We just did a 1:16.6. So interestingly, that was slower than Albon's time. So let's keep an eye out on Zhou. He seems to have gone very slow in the first sector at 24.7. Oof, that's very slow for him. So let's keep an eye out. That's slower than any lap he's done. 24.7. So he's probably had a bit of a wobble there. Murray Walker. Red Bull looks super understeery. Yeah, Max was complaining about front end yesterday, Connor, wasn't he? He was complaining the car just won't do what he wants it to do. We all know how Max likes a really pointy car, and if he's not able to get that, especially at a circuit like this, you're just going to be waiting longer to get on throttle, aren't you? And that's why that just explains why they were losing so much time in the middle sector, where you really need to be able to turn the front end of that car in, of course, through turn 9, Aqua Minerale. So, yeah, he was losing so much time in that middle sector compared to the likes of Sainz and Leclerc and even the McLarens. So, his final corners in T7 look so bad. Right, so Guan Yu Zhou, even with that lap time, was, I don't know what he did in the first sector, but it was very slow. 1:17.8 from him, so not good. Let's keep an eye on Stroll. 24.1, that's not too bad. That's not too shabby from the Aston Martin, considering the fastest lap, first sector time we've seen thus far is a 23.8 from Oscar Piastri. So we know obviously the Aston is slower, but that is still a tenth slower than his teammate, who did a 24.0. So I have the fastest sector times here. Let's see what he does in the second sector and how that is in comparison to his teammates. So 26.5, that is a lot quicker than he... That's, well, roles reverse, really, about a tenth and a half quicker. 9th fastest. Interestingly, that's slower than Albon and Tsunoda in the second sector. I mean, do we expect anything else from Stroll, though? Let's be honest. Even if he had the machinery under him. I don't think we'd see him at the top of the timing sheets. And he goes 7th, but slower once again than Albon. Albon put in a really good time there. So, yeah. It's interesting, Connor, actually, that you mentioned Verstappen. So Verstappen's fastest lap thus far, of course, I know it's on the medium compound tyre. But he's 8th fastest in the first sector, 4th fastest in the second, and 5th fastest in the third. So, but here we go, guys. Quali sims with 8 minutes remaining. We're going to see some quali runs here as we see drivers out on track. But are we going to see those get clean quali runs in? That's the key, because it's going to be a very busy track. Lots of cars having to move out of the way. Let's see what happens. Things could get a bit spicy here in the closing stages of this practice session. On the bus. Good, George, good. Ferrari win incoming. I mean, they're definitely in the ascendancy, but qualifying is important here. So we'll see what happens in qualifying in a few hours' time. But over 100 likes, thank you guys, and over 500 viewers in this stream. So yeah, big thank you. Keep hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. It does say that about 90% of you who watch these streams aren't subscribed. So please hit the subscribe button. Really helps move this channel forward. So, right, who is going to be first to cross the line to set a lap? I don't know. There's so many people out on track. There we go, Piastri. Wow, a 23.7 from Piastri there. That's the fastest we have seen thus far, beating his own fastest first sector. So, Piastri, is he going to get caught up with a bit of traffic, though? I really hope not, because we haven't seen the true pace of the McLaren today as he heads down into Acqua Minerale, turn 12. Let's see as he heads up into Variante Alta, the chicane, turn 14 and 15. And I think he should have a pretty much an uninterrupted lap here. 26.2, fastest purple there. That's a 10th.5 quicker than that of Leclerc, as George Russell goes in with a 1:16.0. But Piastri, as long as he doesn't go wide out of turn 18, is going to set the fastest lap here. And the first true pace that we've seen of this McLaren as he comes across the finish line and does a 1:15.5. That is the fastest lap we've seen here thus far this week. That is a great lap from Oscar Piastri there. Whew. So good. Oscar's looking good here. How about Lando? So Lando's on his out lap, so we'll see. There's a yellow. Perez has gone off. Has he spun it? Has he binned it at the chicane? Oh, there's a red flag. Perez has binned it in Variante Alta. And we have our second red flag of this session. And I think we are only going to see Oscar Piastri set a quali sim here as Perez has lost it over the chicane in turn 14 and 15 and is in the barrier a la Charles Leclerc that we saw a few years ago. And, well, yes, oh no. Oh no, that's ruined kind of what was going to be an interesting end to this practice session. But Perez losing it over the curbs there, it seems, through Variante Alta. So I'm just watching. They're on board with him now. Oh, he lost it on entry. Over the first curb, the car was sliding and he's gone straight on. The front wing is off. It's a bit of a tame crash, really, because he's gone through the gravel trap there. But there's no way that car can be moved under its own steam. You saw, so the camera angle was through the curb as the car goes over the curb, and you saw the back end step out as he got over the first curb, turn 14, and yeah, he's gone straight on into the barrier. I think the car will be okay to be repaired. That just looks like the front wings kind of fallen off there. But yeah, very, very fortunate there from Perez. But unfortunately, I think that is there's gonna be no time for any more running here, because by the time they remove that car, probably be only a minute left, or not even any minutes left of this session. So Oscar Piastri being the only driver to get a proper quali run in there at the end. Well, I say that, of the top drivers that we wanted to see with a 1:15. So watching Sergio Perez is on board again, down through Variante Alta, absolutely fine. As he Acqua Minerale, sorry, and then as he's heading into Variante Alta, takes too much curb. Yeah, so he took too much curb on the entry to turn 14. The car was bouncing, it stepped out. And that's why, yeah, the car bottomed out over the curb, and that's why he lost the rear of the car and went straight on. Oh. He'll be okay, he'll be okay. But unfortunately, yeah, that's a second red flag of this session. Perez and Alonso. Interesting. Interesting. I think this is my hot prediction, guys. I think we're going to see a crash in qualifying from one of the top drivers. I think we are. I think the nature of this circuit, especially when they're pushing as hard as they are, we've already seen some big wobbles here this week already. 2 crashes in this session alone. I think, yeah, one of the big boys out of the Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. Well, I'm not even going to include Mercedes. I'm sorry, guys. Even as a Mercedes fan, it hurts me. But I think Piastri, so the McLarens, the Ferraris, and the Red Bulls, one of those drivers is going to bin it in qualifying just from pushing too hard, I think. So, wasn't even on a fast lap. How long will the stream be on for? Have to go soon. Well, yeah, we'll be doing this. We've got couple of minutes until till this session is over and done with, so the stream will be going on for a little bit longer. I don't know if I've got enough time for gym in between this and qualifying. Yeah, Red Bull not looking good. Those medium tyres with defo lower fuel based on those soft sectors. Interesting, Connor. Interesting. How is Max doing? He was on a lap. So if you look at it, right? If we look at this here. Max Verstappen did a 23.9 in the first sector. And to put this in perspective, Piastri was 2 tenths quicker. I can bring you the sector times here. So these are the sector times. And you can see here... Hang on a second. Cat's on the PC. Now. Thought she was going to turn the stream off then. Oh, they are getting out there. They've removed the car. Oh, we're going to get 1 lap. Are we going to get 1 lap? Or I suppose they get to go out there and do a practice start, don't they? Oh. Oh, they're probably all just going out there to do a practice start. I don't think they've got enough time to get round and do a full lap. Interesting. But yeah, sorry guys. This is the first sector here, but you can see. And Max is only full fastest in the first sector on that soft run. George Russell was quicker. Piastri was flying. Absolutely flying. 2 tenths quicker. So, yeah. I think Max has improved a bit with the car, but I don't think that Red Bull's still in great shape. I'm going to make a bold prediction. So, you wanted my top 3. I think we're going to see a fight, a pole position between... I don't think we're going to see a Red Bull on the front row in the top 3. I don't think we're going to see a Red Bull in the top 3 for qualifying. I think I'm going to go Leclerc pole, Lando P2, and Piastri P3. That's what I'm going to go for. Leclerc, Norris, Piastri. That's what I think. And Sainz 4th. And I genuinely think Verstappen is the 5th fastest car here at the moment. That's what I'm going for. That's my bold prediction. We'll see if that's true in a few hours' time, guys. Tune back in to find out. So, digital version of my wallpaper. Which wallpaper? What wallpaper are you talking about? I'm very brave. Well, I make bold predictions. That's what I'm here for. I'd agree with that. The Ferrari looks easier car to drive. McLaren potentially quicker if they hook it up. Yeah. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. I just don't think Verstappen's not happy in that car. And I've just got a funny feeling if he pushes that car to its limit, I've got a feeling we could see some offs. Got a feeling we could see some... I could see Max crashing in qualifying today. The way that car's driving, it's not to his liking. And if he pushes too much, then yeah, I think he could crash. That's the way it's going. But Norris there at 1:15.8. But look, not taking too much out of that, but he's 3/10 slower than his teammate. They was all out there rushing to get that lap in. So he at least got kind of one fastest run in, and he was the fastest in the last sector compared to his teammate. So yeah, he's the McLarens are quick. The McLarens are quick. The driver beside me. Oh, this. I don't know if there is a digital version of it. I can tell you where I got it from. I got it from... oh, where did I get it from? Oh, it's not Unique. It's something else. Where did I get it from? Display. I got it from display.com. There's a few F1 drivers on there. Yeah, that's where I got it from. Why is Max slow? So Max just hasn't really... I just think they've struggled with the setup of the car. I think they're just struggling with the car. Apparently they've got some upgrades here this weekend, the new front wing. Maybe that's not having the desired effect. But yeah, something's not right with that Red Bull. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm now very positive. I was keeping my levels low. After yesterday. But I do think that, yeah, I'm standing by that. I think Leclerc will be on pole position with Norris second and Piastri third. I think Sainz could quite easily change up that order as well. He's not being a slouch by any means. So I think, but my bold prediction is that we are not going to see a Red Bull in the top 3 positions of qualifying. Max may sneak a 4th, but I don't think he will. I think those top 4 that we see right now are comfortably quicker than Max, and they look comfortable as well. Whereas Max doesn't look comfortable. So why do I think they're struggling but also sandbagging? Because we've had 3 years of dominance. And there's a bit of us that still goes, no, I'm not getting my hopes up. Have you considered scheduling future streams ahead of time to allow viewers to enable notifications? I have done, Maina. Yeah, I will be scheduling the qualifying straight after this stream. So, yeah, the race I'll be doing after qualifying as well. I kind of just do one stream ahead. But yeah, I do ensure that it's at least up more than half an hour before the stream goes live because of the notifications. So yeah, no. Thank you, buddy. What Leclerc's chances of nabbing a win? I don't think he's going to nab a win. I think he's probably... I think if you were going to say anyone's a favourite right now, I still think Leclerc is a favourite. Sainz and Leclerc didn't get to do a proper quali run in the end of this practice session. So what you saw there with them being half a second off was on used tyres at the start. Oh, no, sorry, not used tyres, but probably on higher fuel at the start of this practice session. So... I'll be streaming quali. Of course I will be. Yep. So we have 12. So it's 12:30 now. Qualifying's on at 3. So yeah, two and a bit hours. I'll be live. 2 and a bit hours. Do you think it could have been an upgrade that has messed up Verstappen's feel with the car, like it's Miami and Imola have the same issue? Potentially. Yeah, potentially. Tucko. Oh god, bad sneeze. Sorry. Oh. Bless me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so let's have a little rundown of FP3. Piastri is at the top with Norris. Piastri is really the only driver to get a proper quali run in. Norris rushed his at the end with obviously that red flag late coming out with Sergio Perez. Sainz and Leclerc in 3rd and 4th. The Ferrari's looking very good. George Russell sneaking up there in P5, but I think that was a proper quali run from him. So I don't think the Mercedes... I wouldn't expect the Mercedes to be... They're quite easily like the 4th fastest car here this weekend. So, yeah, just expect them to be probably fighting out for like 6th and 7th, I think. Upgrade seems to have added loads of rear load, and they don't seem to have balanced it enough with the front, even though their new front wing system have added front mode. Yeah, the balance is off, isn't it? Quite clearly. What is that turn 18 incident? I don't know, actually. I think there was loads of like impeding at the end of the session there. Lots of cars kind of going slow, so I think that's what it was. So, had the Ferrari upgrades like the new floor managed to improve quali pace? Yeah, it looks like they've just improved the car all round. So similar to McLaren, they've had some. They've brought a real big upgrade package. So McLaren bought 10 upgrades last time around at Miami, which are now on Piastri's car, and then which was only on Norris's last time. And then this time around, they've got 8 upgrades on the Ferraris. Both of them have received them. They didn't do what McLaren did, where they could have brought them on one car at Miami. They waited till they were both ready for Imola. Yeah, and that's why we're seeing them look very comfortable. Whereas, on the contrary, the Red Bull doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. So, Perez has lost it, pushing at Variante Alta on a quali trim, quali simulation. And then Verstappen also doesn't look great. So, yeah, that's why my prediction is, guys, I don't think we're going to see a Red Bull in the top 3 of qualifying. It was Danny Rick on Hulk was a bad impede. Okay, I don't know what the Piastri incident is then. I don't know what that incident is. Perez messed up, I guess, somewhere. Into the chicane, yeah. Yeah, into the chicane. But, yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. That is FP3. It was a lot more eventful than I thought it was going to be for a practice session. We had 2 red flags, 2 cars in the barrier. One a Red Bull, one an Aston Martin of Perez and Alonso. We had a fastest lap from Oscar Piastri. Norris showing a bit of pace as well, but not really able to show the true pace as he was really rushing to get that lap in. So not quite the right tyre warm-up and prep that he would have wanted. The 2 Ferraris look good as well. Half a second off there isn't reflective of what their true single lap pace is. So I do expect it to be a lot closer, but I do genuinely think that we have, for the first time in a long time, 2 teams, 4 drivers that are fighting for pole position, and not one of them will be a Red Bull. I genuinely think that. So, yeah. Red Bull still not quite happy. We didn't see a lot of the... we didn't hear a lot of radio of Max Verstappen complaining about the car. Maybe he was, and he just decided not to air it. But yeah, doesn't look quite comfortable with that Red Bull. Perez, definitely not comfortable with that Red Bull. Of course, taking too much curb through turn 14 and binning it there. That will be easier to repair than Alonso's car, that's for sure, because it was just straight on, stuck by the gravel trap. And yeah, the front nose dipped in there. But yeah, interesting, guys, interesting. Max will do his thing Sunday for sure. Potentially, yeah, potentially. We'll see. I'm intrigued to see what that car is going to be like in Max's hands pushing. So yeah, my 2 bold predictions for a couple of hours time, guys, is that 1, we will not see a Red Bull in the top 3, and 2, we will see a crash from one of the top 8 drivers. And when I say, 6 drivers, unfortunately, I'm not including Mercedes because I just don't think they're anywhere near it, and they're just off the pace. It'll probably be about 3 to 4 attempts off the pace, I think, to the eventual pole lap. But yeah, I think you're going to see one of the Red Bulls, Ferraris, or the McLarens bin it while pushing here this afternoon in qualifying. That's kind of my bold predictions. We'll see if those pan out in a couple of hours' time for qualifying, which we'll be here for. Is the Red Bull dominance over? Too soon to say, Foster. Too soon to say. I do expect them to come back strong, that's for sure. But if it is, it's a tasty prospect. If Max and Perez are genuinely struggling. So we'll find out in qualifying. So practice is just practice still. You know, we've seen Max struggle in practice before and then just turn up in qualifying and bam. He's quickest by like 3 attempts. So Leclerc and Norris on pole, hopefully. I think it'll be between those 2 personally. But don't write off Oscar and don't write off Sainz. They're no slouches and they're going very well also. Why is Hamilton struggling in the same Mercedes car where Russell is consistently outperforming him? It's kind of mind-boggling. Because Sid, there's a number of factors for that. The first is that Lewis is chasing performance in the car. He's leaving next year. So for one, he doesn't really care about taking a well-balanced setup. He knows he's in a car that can't win. He's struggling to get podiums. So he's tinkering around. He's thinking, probably, this is what I think, but he's like, well, what have I got to lose in trying to tinker around with setups and chase performance and potentially unlock something in this car? Whereas if I just stick to the balanced setup, but more often than not, George Russell is using, why would I use that when I know I'm not going to get, like, best I'm going to get is probably top 5. I'm not going to get a podium. I'm not going to get a win. I might as well just tinker around and see if I can potentially unlock something. And I think that's kind of his attitude with it, really. And you see him after races not too dissatisfied. He seems a bit cheery, even if he hasn't had like necessarily a good race, because it's kind of like a no. He's kind of like, oh, he's got nothing to lose situation, I think. And he's just like, yeah, well, the car's where it's at. Not much he can do. And he's more so looking towards next year than fighting against George Russell, where he has not really anything to prove against George. So that's what I think. So prediction is Charles Leclerc pole position, yeah. But there we go, guys. That is the end of FP3. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you could hit the subscribe button, if you could be much appreciated, as we're closely reaching 22,000 subs, 146 likes. Thank you very much. 4 more of you can hit the like button for 150. Go on. I don't ask for much. But yeah, going to end this stream with my predictions. My top 3 for this afternoon, I think, is going to be Charles Leclerc pole position, Lando Norris P2, and I think Oscar Piastri will be in P3. I do think Carlos Sainz could quite evidently end up anywhere in that top 3 as well. Even pole position, we've seen him do it before. So yeah, I think we're in for a very interesting and intriguing qualifying this afternoon. Who knows, maybe Max will turn up. We've seen him do it before, but I do think now we've seen the third practice session for that Red Bull isn't quite at the races here this weekend, and they're struggling a bit. They're struggling. I mean, one of them ended up in the wall and brought out a red flag. So, but yeah, guys, gonna go set up the stream, and we'll be back in exactly 2 hours time before 15 minutes before qualifying starts. 2 hours. So go grab some lunch, dinner, breakfast, wherever you are in the world, and yeah, we'll be back in 2 hours time for qualifying. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you then. Bye.